On the news, Rivers Sole Administrator confirms release of withheld allocations, advises traditional rulers against partisan politics. Supreme Court nullifies judgment, sacking Samuel Anyanwu as PDP National Secretary. And Nigerian military denies knowledge of any peace deal with bandits. It's a pleasure to have you join News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I am Joy Uchejim. We begin in Rivers State, where the Sole Administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, has announced the release of withheld local government allocations, assuring that necessary steps will be taken to ensure the prompt payment of workers' salaries. Speaking during a meeting with heads of local government administrators in Port Harcourt, Ibas describes the gathering as a pivotal moment in the collective efforts to restore stability and progress in Rivers State. The former Chief of Naval Staff has also urged traditional rulers in the state to steer clear of partisan politics, emphasizing that crucial role in fostering peace and stability in the state. He underscored his primary mandate to restore peace and the need to curb the interest of a few who prioritize personal gains over the state's collective well-being. And in a fresh ruling, Nigeria's Supreme Court has nullified the judgment of the Court of Appeal and the Federal High Court, which sacked Samuel Anyanwu as the National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Justice Jamilu Tuka, who delivered the lead judgment of the Supreme Court, consequently struck out the judgment of the trial court delivered in October 2024 and also set aside the majority judgment of the Court of Appeal, which had in December affirmed the sack of Anyanwu as the party's national secretary. On Friday, a 5-member panel of the Apex Court held that the issue of the actual national secretary of the PDP borders on the internal affairs of a political party, which is not justiciable. Justice Tukur subsequently affirmed the minority judgment of the appellate court delivered by Justice Joseph Ekanem, which had nullified the judgment of the trial court on account of lack of jurisdiction. And in other stories, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has reaffirmed President Tinubu's commitment to upholding the constitutionally guaranteed rights of all Nigerians by fostering constructive criticism and healthy opposition. Idris, who stated this at the 5th ministerial briefing session in Abuja on Thursday, alongside his counterparts from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Interior, also pledged the government's continuous support for creating a conducive environment for the media to thrive in Nigeria. TV 360's Sydney Okafor has more details in this next report.
The 5th edition of the Ministerial Press Briefing session commenced in Abuja with key federal government officials providing scorecards on the projects that have been implemented so far. This edition, which involved the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Interior, is coming amid several criticisms faced by the Nigerian government. Idris says the ongoing ministerial briefing session, spearheaded by his ministry, highlights the government's commitment to accountability.
Since the launch of the 2025 series of ministerial press briefing, 7 of my colleagues, honorable ministers, have taken the stage to present their scorecards to Nigerians. Let me re-emphasize that each minister will have the opportunity to engage directly with Nigerians during this forum, leading up to the 2025 Democracy Day celebrations. This initiative, being driven by the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, highlights the government's commitment to accountability. It equally serves as a platform to keep Nigerians informed about the ongoing policies and programs of the Tinubu administration to foster active citizens' engagement in the nation's governance process.
Nigeria's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, disclosed effort in the nation's image internationally, saying that the country now enjoys improved diplomatic relations.
The most important thing that we've been doing, in my opinion, is redeeming Nigeria's image abroad. When I say redeeming Nigeria's image abroad, I'm talking about compensating for any faults that we may have projected. And I think we've succeeded in that thus far. But so the next stage is really to exalt and glorify Nigeria's image abroad. In terms of redemption, we now have a good image. I'm confident to say that. Now, how have we been able to do that? We have done that by restoring the dignity of Nigerian citizens in other countries.
Speaking further, the Minister of Interior reassured Nigerians of the government's commitment to improving internal security and enhancing border security.
This government has got about 40-something vehicles, even for border control. Ordinary vehicles, we didn't have it for border control. This government came, did that. In NSCDC, this government came with 100 vehicles. This government did that. Gunboats, this government came. This government did that. This is a government that understands security. And a government that understands that for you to send people to protect your border, for you to send people to put their lives on the line, they must be encouraged. That is why this government came up with peculiar allowance for these officers. That is why this government made sure that promotion was, nobody was denied promotion. Everything this is the government that came with a comprehensive insurance for these officers. This is a government that had given these officers all that is needed to encourage them.
While congratulating the Nigerian Union of Journalists on its 70th anniversary, the Ministry of Information described the achievement as a milestone that reflects the union's enduring commitment to press freedom and journalistic excellence. He further emphasized that constructive criticism and opposition are essential for reinforcing and deepening Nigeria's democratic framework. Sydney Okafo, TV 360, Lagos.
Now let's get an expert's view of these scorecards by the ministers. Global Affairs analyst Ikenna Imewu joins me on the news. Thank you for your time, Mr. Imewu. Now, the Minister of Interior says Nigeria's border security has significantly improved and internal security, especially in Borno State, is a lot better than before. And Nigeria is a whole lot better in general. Now, what's your reaction to this? And do you agree with this scorecard?
Thank you so much. I don't think I agree with the Interior Minister. Why I don't agree is because I think it is immodest for somebody to set exam for himself, mark the scripts, and score himself. I wish the Interior Minister had left it to Nigerians to assess what he is doing, invariably this government is doing. He's telling us about Borno State, because most of us who live in Seme-Border or even a beach in Akwa Ibom are a word away from Borno State. How would we know what he's saying? So he should have left this for the people of Borno to assess. Or why he is saying this, they show us pictures of people that places people never lived in Borno that is still inhabited with people pursuing their lives. Until that is done, what he said is just a campaign to me. We need the facts. On Tuesday this week, I still remember very clearly, somebody left Abuja by night vehicle to come to meet a friend of his, who is also a friend of mine here in Lagos. Their vehicle was kidnapped with every passenger in it. We have a lot of siege going on in this country. So why did the Interior Minister decide to take a tip of Nigeria that most Nigerians never visit, Borno State, as an instance? Let him talk to us about the generality of Nigeria and how security is better today, how lives are safer, how Nigerians do their business better than they did before this administration came into power.
All right, Mr. Iwewu. So the Minister of Foreign Affairs has also mentioned improved diplomatic relations and respect for Nigeria on the global stage. Now, what factors do you think have contributed to this improvement, and what are the still existing challenges in this regard?
He didn't give us any statistics. He didn't give us any instances of those improved images. We wouldn't know how to assess him on this. It is towing the same line as the Minister of Interior, his contemporary or counterpart. You don't tell us the image has improved without giving us instances of those improved images. Is it the image of Nigeria? Is it the image of the government? Is it the image of the people in that government? How did it improve? One of the ways to assess good diplomatic efficacy is citizens' diplomacy. How many times has this government intervened to rescue Nigerian citizens stranded somewhere in one desperate situation or the other? If he says the image has proved, that is fine. But let him, for goodness sake, give us instances to make us believe him. When he just comes out to say the image of Nigeria has improved at the international community, how? What was wrong with the image of Nigeria? Was it the former government? Is it the human beings? How has it changed the human beings? If he told them stories to improve the image, did he tell them the truth? He didn't give us any instances, and therefore there's no yardstick on which to assess whether what he said is right or wrong. And since whoever asserts proves, and he hasn't proven, so he's not actually telling us the truth.
All right. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us, Global Affairs Analyst Ikenna Imewu. We really appreciate your contribution. And from politics to security, the Nigerian military has strongly reaffirmed its unwavering stance against negotiating with bandits or any other splinter groups in the country. The Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcos Kange, said this while briefing newsmen on the operations of the military across the country in Abuja. Responding to recent reports of peace deals with bandits by certain communities in the country, General Kange clarified that the Nigerian armed forces have never wavered on its commitment to an aggressive security strategy.
To the best of our knowledge, we have never had any peace deal with bandits as military men. When the community want to do that, I don't think they go and seek approval from the military to do so. And the military, I don't think they are aware of that. The military is conducting their operations according to the rules of engagement and code of conduct for internal security operations, like I have told you. So if any community goes about calling bandit for any disease, the military does not support that. We don't support that effort by the community. The field commanders are aware of all that is happening in the field. So whatever that has happened, they will interrogate it and revert to Defense Headquarters with their findings. So it will be prejudicial for me to tell you this is the outcome of their findings, while they have now forwarded the report of their findings to us. But I want to tell you that there is no how the military will fold their hands and allow some of our critical infrastructures to be destroyed by criminals.
And the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has formally apologized to the Federal High Court, Justice Binta Nyako, and lead prosecutor Adegboyega Awomolo for his conduct during his previous court appearance. In a statement delivered by his lead counsel, former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Kanu Agabi, Kanu pleaded for forgiveness and assured the court that he would maintain good conduct throughout the trial. Apologies were also rendered to the prosecution team led by the federal government's lawyer Adegboyega Awomolo and the chairman of the body of benchers.
What we said is, it's a new day. It's a new approach. Our client has utmost respect for the court. He has respect for the prosecution, and he has respect for his lawyers. And that's the sensible step he took to issue the apology. And you can see how the court commended him. The prosecution spoke very well of him. This is a place for justice. We are not here to act drama. We are here to seek justice, and that is why he has done the right thing. Of course, he knows that it is the right thing, and everybody is happy with it.
Just like it was a decision that we should get and the person of Kalagabi to come into this matter. So, and we witnessed before today the last proceedings we had before Honorable Justice Binta Nyako. So Nnamdi Kanu was angry to an extent that he addressed the court in a derogatory manner, addressed the prosecutor, the person of Chief Awumolo, and also push away his defense team. So upon watching that, Kalagabi, being a member of the benchers and a senior advocate of Nigeria and former Attorney General, felt that there is every need for Nnamdi Kanu to apologize to the judge, apologize to Awumolo. Awumolo is his senior by age and everything, and also apologize to we, the defense team, since the thing happened in public. And even that he assaulted us, insulted us in a hidden place. Since that is, Nnamdi Kanu is expected to apologize. So that is a grant for him to come in. And moreover, this is a matter that can be resolved politically.
And in other stories, the Nigeria Customs Service Murtala Mohammed International Airport Command says it intercepted a total of $578,000 falsely declared from an inbound passenger coming into Nigeria from South Africa. The Customs Area Controller in charge of the command, John Harrison, announced this while addressing journalists at the command on Friday. He explained that the suspect, Okorie Sunday, came into the country on Wednesday, March 19, 2025, with the money undeclared and hidden in his body. According to him, the passenger, on arriving at the airport, started acting strangely, which warranted a search by the officers on duty. And it's now time for a short break. Still to come on News Now, Namibia inaugurates its first woman president, Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah. Details of this story after this break.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the GoTour app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Here's a recap of some of our top stories. The sole administrator of Rivers State, Ibok Etta Ibas, has announced the release of withheld local government allocations, assuring that necessary steps will be taken to ensure the prompt payment of workers' salaries. Ibas further urged the traditional rulers in the state to steer clear of partisan politics, emphasizing their crucial role in fostering peace and stability in the state. We also told you that the Supreme Court has nullified the judgments of the Court of Appeal and the Federal High Court, which had sacked Samuel Anyanwu as the National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. In case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and ABO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Let's join Victoria Akonde for business stories making the rounds. What's the latest, Victoria?
Well, Joy, experts have described Dangote's refinery's decision to suspend the Naira for crude deal as a step in the wrong direction. Speaking exclusively with TV360 Nigeria, economist Segun Sopitan explained that while marketers may continue purchasing from Dangote, the transactions will now be in dollars. Sopitan warned that this move will increase the demand for dollars in the foreign exchange market, which could lead to a depreciation of the Naira and in turn exacerbate inflationary pressures across the country.
We have to wait to see how it plays out between the marketers in particular and Dangote. The implications of this is that there is a very, very high likelihood that for the marketers to continue to enjoy purchases from Dangote, they would have to pay in dollars. Now, what that means is we're back to the period when we were importing pretty much all of our local refined product needs into the country, in spite of the fact that in reality, maybe 30 to 40% of our need is being refined locally, maybe even up to 50% is being refined locally. But because Dangote would now insist that payments should be made in dollars, it's as good as we're importing everything that we're using, which means that the pressure on the demand for dollars in the foreign exchange market will be back to where we were some months ago. And you might, as a result, see the Naira depreciate against the US dollar. And we all know how that affects the rest of the economy in terms of inflationary pressure. So this is not good news at all.
Still in business, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has committed to bridging the gap between producers and consumers to foster good relationships. Sanwo-Olu gave the assurance recently at a conference organized by Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency in commemoration of World Consumer Rights Day in Lagos. The governor said his administration will continue to foster mutual understanding and partnerships that drive innovation while addressing market challenges, urging all stakeholders to seize the opportunity to inspire, change, promote eco-friendly practices, and uphold consumer rights to collectively build a more sustainable future. Right now, we'll go on a short break and be back with stock market updates. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's the final trading day of the week and the Nigerian equities market recorded its first win of the week, increasing slightly by 0.1%. The market capitalization now stands at 65.8 trillion naira. In the aggregate, 125 NGX-listed equities participated in trading, ending with 29 gainers and 21 losers. Linkage Assurance led the gainers with a 10% share price appreciation, closing at 1 naira for 3 kobo per share, and was followed closely by Livestock Feeds. At the end of the last weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, over 396 million shares were exchanged in 10,099 deals, corresponding to a market value exceeding 9 billion naira. And when this is compared with the previous NGX trading day, which is Thursday, the 20th March, today's data shows a 28% improvement in volume and a 45% improvement in turnover. Now, switching to the global scene, the reverse is the case as all our selected equities, the UK's FTSE, Japan's Nikkei, and US Dow Jones, all ended in negative territory. Moving on to the foreign exchange market, the Naira remains volatile against major currencies. It currently trades at 1,590 Naira per dollar, 2,014 Naira per pound, and 1,750 Naira to the euros. That is it on both business and stock market updates. Back to you, Joy, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Victoria. And on the foreign scene, Southern Africa's desert nation of Namibia has sworn in its first female president, Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, on Friday, after securing 58% of the votes in the 2024 elections, extending the ruling party's 35-year grip on power. 72-year-old Nandi-Ndaitwah, who had previously served as vice president, is a stalwart of the Southwest Africa People's Organization that led the sparsely populated and uranium-rich country to independence from apartheid South Africa in 1990. In her inaugural speech, Nandi-Ndaitwah acknowledged her historic election, but also said that Namibians elected her for her competence and merit. She emphasized that tackling unemployment is a priority for her government. And still on the foreign scene, tens of thousands of travelers faced disruptions on Friday as a power outage caused by a fire near London's Heathrow Airport led to the closure of one of the world's busiest airports. The shutdown triggered widespread chaos, with some flights forced to turn around mid-air and others diverted to alternative locations far from their intended destinations. Several flights were cancelled, and the ripple effects of the disruption were felt globally. And on sports, Super Eagles coach Eric Chell has announced a strong lineup for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda, with Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman set to start Friday's match. Both players, who have been in excellent form for their clubs this season, have each scored over 40 goals in the current campaign. Joining them in the starting 11 are regulars Samuel Chukwueze and Simon Moses. In midfield, Wilfred Ndidi of Leicester City and Fulham's Alex Iwobi will anchor the team as Nigeria looks to extend their bid for qualification. And CONCACAF football president Victor Montagliani has downplayed concerns about the potential impact of a U.S. border crackdown on the 2026 World Cup on Thursday. This follows a series of incidents where foreign visitors were detained or deported after attempting to enter the United States. Montagliani expressed confidence that any issues related to U.S. border policy will be addressed in time for next year's 48-team tournament, co-hosted by the USA, Canada, and Mexico. And that's our bulletin on News Now. Many thanks for watching. I am Joy Ucheji. See you next time.